regular presiding officer, the Sangguniang will elect or select among ourselves on who will preside over this regular session of the Sangguniang Bayan as specified and indicated in Section 49 of the Local Government Code. So, any motion from this honorable chamber?
Honorable Chair,
Honorable
move to
Nuega?
Honorable Bob Chong to preside.
Any second to that motion?
Second, Your Honor.
There was a motion and duly seconded. Any discussion? Amendment, objection, there being none, the Honorable Winifredo Chong will preside over this regular session of the Sangguniang Bayan. Kapila dyan. Good morning once again. The 126th regular session of the Sangguniang Bayan is now about to commence. Will everyone please rise for the entrance of the official maze of the Sangguniang Bayan together with our temporary presiding officer, the Honorable Winifredo Chong, and our Sangguniang Secretary, Madam Estelita Eguia.
The 126th regular session of Sangguniang Bayan is now called to order. Please remain standing for the national anthem.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Madam Secretary, for determination of quorum.
Okay, good morning to everyone. Welcome to the 126th regular session of the Sangguniang. Present for today's regular session, Mr. Chair, the following: the Honorable Catherine Turalva,
Present.
Honorable Serafino Ramos, Honorable Winifredo Chong, Honorable Juan Pablo Nuega. We have Honorable Al-Hapid Muhammad.
Present.
And we have Honorable Triximil Palalon. On record, there are 6, sir. We are not yet in quorum.
Mr. Chair, inasmuch as we are not in quorum, obviously the Honorable Hasim filed his leave of absence. the Honorable Sabihon file his leave of absence, and the Honorable Diane Catalunya file her leave of absence. And as of now, the Honorable Roy Andy Oligario is not feeling well. He was brought to the clinic just recently, Mr. Chair. I would like to ask our HRMO if the Honorable Diane Catalunya retrieve her leave of absence. As of now,
Okay, recess for 15 minutes.
the purpose of the recess, of which our presiding officer ruled, is in the internal rules of procedure of the Sangguniang Bayan. If we are not in quorum, we'll have the 15 minutes just to wait for the others to come.
Therefore, I could say that it makes our legislative work more easier and more accessible to the public. Therefore, I could say that it makes our legislative work more easier and more accessible to the public.
The signing of the Executive Order No. 249 on July 26, 1949 by the late President, His Excellency Elpidio Quirino, marked a very significant day for this municipality. Ipil, as the provincial capital of Zamboanga Sibugay, lies in the crossroad between Pagadian City, Zamboanga City, and Dipolog City, with 28 barangays and with a population of 64,139 based on the recent census, and with a land area of 36,690 hectares. Since 1949, the municipal government was situated at the Poblacion area. However, in 2022, the municipal government center was transferred here at Barangay Taway after the local officials and series of public hearings and consultations were conducted. The Honorable Mayor Animal C. Oligario holds office in this area. The Honorable Vice Mayor Ramses Roy D. Oligario and staff are situated adjacent to the office of the local Chief Executive. Likewise, the members of the local Sanggunian holds office in their respective offices manned with at least 2 or 3 legislative staff. The secretary to the Sanggunian and staff hold office adjacent to the session hall. The session is on live stream every Wednesday at 10 o'clock in the morning. The local Sanggunian are strictly observing their parliamentary procedures the significance of the race and the paper.
Mr. Chair, we are now in a privilege hour. Any members of this honorable chamber who wants to avail the privilege hour, you may do so by raising your hand so that you will be recognized by our presiding officer. Be it personal or collective matter, any member. Mr. Chair, please do recognize the Honorable Trixie Mil Palalon.
Honorable Palalon, you have the floor.
Good morning, Mr. Presiding Officer, distinguished colleagues, members of this honorable chamber, and our fellow Ipileños, good day. I am here today on a matter of personal and collective privilege, a matter that goes beyond mere procedures and strikes at the heart of public service and accountability. This is about our integrity as a legislative body, and more importantly, the welfare of our hardworking job order, contractual, and regular employees in the municipality of Ipil. Last December 11, 2024, during our regular session, only 7 members of this chamber were present, while 5, including our Vice Mayor and 4 other colleagues, were absent. I recognize that everyone is entitled to leave, but it is lamentable that these absences coincided with the deliberation of the Supplemental Budget Number 4, a measure that sought to release the salaries and wages of our job order and contractual employees for the months of October, November, and December. To put it bluntly, Mr. Presiding Officer, we failed that day. Despite our quorum, the absence of a qualified majority vote prevented us from passing this urgent measure. Some insisted that a simple majority was sufficient based on the ILG Opinion No. 4 Series of 2020. But we cannot ignore jurisprudence, most notably the Supreme Court ruling and the provisions of Article 107, Paragraph G of the Implementing Rules and Regulations of the Local Government Code, stating, for ordinances or resolutions authorizing or directing the payment of money, an affirmative vote of a majority of all the members of the Sanggunian, whether present or absent, is required. The legal standard could not be met. As a result, our job order and contractual employees were left disheartened. They are our co-workers in the public service. And it is disheartening to see their hopes dashed, especially as they face the challenges of the holiday season. A special session was convened on December 13, 2024, where Supplemental Budget No. 4 was finally approved. I acknowledge and appreciate that all members were present to pass this critical measure. However, I must express my disappointment over the actions that followed. A photo opportunity was initiated, and to my surprise, it was used for a public post on social media with the caption, "Nagkahiusa karong adlaw ang Sangguniang Bayan sa walay pagsupak nga aprubahan ang Supplemental Budget No. 4. While it is true that we passed the budget unanimously during the special session, we cannot pretend that the events of December 11 never happened. Unity is not performance for the cameras, Mr. Presiding Officer. It is reflected in our commitment to serve, our presence in critical discussions, and our willingness to act in a timely and accountable manner. Distinguished colleagues, this brings me to our session today, December 18, 2024. Once again, we find ourselves in a similar predicament. Several members who filed leaves last week have filed again today. During yet another critical deliberation, On our agenda is Supplemental Budget number 5, which includes the bonuses of our regular employees. These incentives are not mere numbers on paper. They represent the dedication, perseverance, and hard work of men and women who keep this local government running. With Christmas fast approaching, I appeal to my colleagues, let us not fail them. Their sacrifices deserve recognition, not delays by procedural hurdles or absenteeism. Mr. Presiding Officer, distinguished colleagues, I am not here to assign blame, but I stand before you to underscore the importance of accountability, transparency, and duty. As elected officials, we swore an oath to serve the people, and part of that service is our presence, our physical, mental, and moral presence, during times when decisions that affect lives are made. To our job order, contractual, and regular employees, I want you to know that we hear your concerns and I share your frustration. I remain steadfast in ensuring that your voices are heard and your welfare prioritized. To my esteemed colleagues, I urge you, let us not wait for special sessions to fulfill what we could accomplish during our regular ones. Let us act with urgency, diligence, and compassion. The people of Ipil deserve nothing less. Finally, I humbly appeal to everyone in this chamber. Let this be a reminder of our sacred duty to the people who entrusted us with this mandate. Let us be present, let us be accountable, and let us act for the common good. With that, Mr. Presiding Officer, I thank you. May we always put public service above all else. Daghang salamat ug maayong buntag kanatong tanan.
Thank you, Honorable Palalon. Any more privileged speeches from this honorable chamber? I think, Mr. Chair, there are no more privileged speeches. We will move, Mr. Chair, to the reading and approval of the minutes of the previous session. Mr. Chair, I move to dispense the reading of the minutes of the previous session and moving for the approval of the same.
Any second? Discussion. Discussion? Amendment? Objection, there being none, motion is approved. Next. Madam Secretary, for the order of business.
Yeah. Hello. Okay, for the order of business calendar and first reading, under other communications, item E-1, we have the supplemental budget number 02 for CY 2024, barangays Maasin, and SK supplemental budget number 1 of Lower Taway.
Mr. Chair, I move that this matter be referred to the Committee on Appropriation and Finance.
Referred to Committee on Appropriation and Finance.
Item E-2, we have here the endorsement from the Mayor, the following MDC resolutions, requesting for appropriate action and approval. The first one is MDC Resolution No.3, resolution approving the reversion of current appropriation amounting to 13,583,500 as source for the Supplemental Investment Program. Number 4 for 2024, endorsing the same to the SB for approval. MDC Resolution number 4, resolution endorsing the Supplemental Investment Program number 4, amounting to 13,583,500, and MDC Resolution number 5, resolution amending the MDC Resolution number 2 Series of 2023, particularly the Barangay Impact Project for Barangay Upper Pangi, Lower Ipil Heights, and Taway, amounting to 200,000 each, and MDC Resolution number 8 Series of 2024, particularly item number 11, and endorsing the same to the Sangguniang Bayan for approval.
Mr. Chair, may I have the floor? I move, Mr. Chair, with these 3 resolutions endorsed from the Office of the Municipal Mayor.
Is that a motion for approval?
Yes, Mr. Chair, because this we should approve first these three resolutions before approving the supplemental budget number 5 for this is the source, Mr. Chair.
Okay, there's a motion.
I second, Mr.
Any
Chair.
second?
I second, Mr. Chair.
Discussion? Any amendments? Any objection? There being none, motion approved.
For consideration, Mr. Chair, we have three separate resolutions to this effect. See.
Okay, next item, Mr. Chair. Item E-3, we have the supplemental budget number 5 for CY 2024 of the general fund amounting to 11,511,276.66 and MIDO 1,210,000 and requesting for appropriate action and approval.
Mr. Chair, I move to convert this session to the Committee of the Whole.
Any objection?
Second pa?
Any objection?
Second motion.
There is a motion. It was seconded. So the chair solicit for
Discussion.
the mind of the members of this chamber. Is there any objection? There being none, motion approved. Any
Mr.
more?
Chair, I move for the urgency of this matter.
Any second?
I second, Mr. Chair.
Any objection? Any objection? Okay. Back to the order of business. Discussion for the
Discussion,
urgency.
Mr. Chair, why this humble representation presented a motion for the urgency of the matter, because this has matter related to the benefits of our employees in this local government unit of Ipil. So with that, Mr. Chair, may I move for this motion? May I have still the floor, Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
Mr. Chair? Mr. Chair? Converted naman. Recess for 1 minute, Mr. Chair.
Approve na. Approve na. May reversion diri.
Therefore, I could say that it makes our legislative work more easier and more accessible to the public.
The signing of the Executive Order Number 249 on July 26, 1949 by the late President, His Excellency Ipil Corino, marked a very significant day for this municipality. Ipil, as the provincial capital of Zamboanga Sibugay, lies in the crossroad between Pagadian City, Zamboanga City, and Dipolog City, with 28 barangays and with a population of 64,139 based on the recent census, and with a land area of 36,690 hectares. Since 1949, the municipal government was situated at the Poblacion area. However, in 2022, the municipal government center was transferred here at Barangay Taway after the local officials and series of public hearings and consultations were
This is the Committee of the Whole.
Yes.
Can I request the Chairman on Committee on Appropriation to please take charge of the Committee of the Whole on the discussion?
Mr. Chair, hindi, kami naman po ang resolution for reversion.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I
Continue.
move for a resolution for the reversion of current appropriation for general fund 11,511,278.69 centavos, and for the MIDO amounting to 1,210,000. I so move, Mr. Chair.
There was a motion approving the reversion of the current appropriation. Any second?
I second, Mr. Chair.
Discussion. Any discussion? Any amendments? Any objection? There being none, motion approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this juncture, may I move for this appropriation ordinance, Mr. Chair, authorizing the supplemental budget number 5, CY 2024 of the general fund amounting to 11,511,278.66 centavos, and MIDO 1,210,000. I submit and so move, Mr. Chair.
Any second?
I second, Mr. Chair.
Discussion? Amendment? Any objection? There being none, motion is approved. Any more?
Back to the regular session, Mr. Chair.
Back to the order of regular session.
Okay, we are now on item E-4. We have a letter from the Association of the Municipal Employees, or AMI, represented by its officers and board of directors, appealing to this august body for the consideration and approval of supplemental budget number 5 for the benefits of LGU employees, reflecting our shared dedication to public service and the well-being of serving tirelessly our municipality.
Mr. Chair, may I have the floor?
You have the floor.
We just approved the supplemental budget number 5. May I move for the recess, Mr. Chair, to approach our AMI employees, Mr. Chair. Recess for 2 minutes.
2 minutes recess granted. Session back to order. For anything, the chair
Privilege motion, Mr. Chair.
wish to recognize the presence of Honorable Ayan and Honorable Roy Olegario.
Privilege motion, Mr. Chair. May I be excused for some other matters to attend, Mr. Chair? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Dayon na to, sir. Ano to?
Okay. Dayon ta.
Mr. Chair, can we excuse the Honorable Olegario? He's not really feeling well much to his desire to stay long, but his health condition wouldn't warrant, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Honorable Olegario is excused.
Mr. Chair, we are now on the committee reports.
Wala pa tayo. May nag-recess pa
Oo. Sa amin pa di ay.
Mr. Chair, may I move to suspend the rules, Mr. Chair?
Rule
To
suspended.
accommodate our Army President in the person of Mr. Dan Erasmo Jr.
Dan Erasmo is recognized. Please take the rostrum.
To our beloved Sangguniang Bayan members of this juncture, our presiding officer, Sir Bob, good morning to you. Honorable Toralba, our Sangguniang Secretary, and to the members of the Sangguniang Bayan who are present, a pleasant morning to each and everyone, and advance Merry Christmas. It is our first time the Association of the Municipality of Ipil Employees appear during your regular session, and I want to let them stand. Naa sila sa likod karon para ma-recognize sa atong Sangguniang Bayan. May we request every officer to please rise. Mao ni sila ang composition sa ato ang Association of the Municipality of Ipil Employees kon AMI. So, pwede na ta mo lingkod, ma'am. Kani in support sa ato ang supplemental budget wherein is incorporated ang ato ang benefits sa atong mga regular employees, whether it is coming from our local budget, supplemental budget number 5, napo diri ang ato ang siguro bisita karon si atong budget officer si Ma'am Lynn, ang ato ang municipal accountant si Sir James, maimbuntag sa tanan. So karon, since nagdalaon tami sa amo ang we have received from your office, nagpa-receive mi sa inyong opisina sa amo ang position letter dated last December 17. Since natakol naman ninyo, and kami nagpasalamat gayud kay inyo hang gi-approve right away ang maong among hangyo. So karon, sa makausa, nagpasalamat kami sa member of the Sangguniang Bayan nga wala ninyo gibalibaran ang tuyo sa amo karon kay inyo namang naaprubahan ang ato ang grant nga benefits para sa empleyado. Since this is a Yuletide season, it's a timely nga naghugpong mo nga inyong aprubahan. Salamat kayong dako in behalf sa association sa Municipality of Ipil Employees Officer. Dili lamang ang empleyado gikan sa pinakataas nga posisyon ug hangtod sa pinakaubos nga posisyon, dako kayong pasalamat ug pahalipay kaninyo nga inyong gigrant ang mga benepisyo intended and as mandated by the law. Inyong gihatag ang ginagmay apan kini gikan sa pinakagamay nga posisyon hangtod sa pinakadako, dako na kaining tabang dili lamang sa amo empleyado apan ato ning isumpay didto sa kada balay sa matag usa sa amo ang empleyado nga adunay pamilya nga nagahulat karong Noche Buena nga naay ma-serve sa lamisa nga dako kaayo nga serbisyo tungod sa inyong pagtabang kanamo. Salamat kaayo mga Sangguniang Bayan member. So kana lang ang akong dakong pasalamat isip usa ka presidente sa empleyado sa association sa LGU Ipil ug sa among banay dinha sa tagsa-tagsa namo kapanimalay. Salamat kaayo sa inyong suporta sa paghatag og benepisyo kay kini nakahatag og dako. Karong Noche Buena mag-expect mo nga ang tibuok banay sa LGU Ipil uban sa ilang pamilya magmalipayon sa pag-celebrate sa ilang Pasko ug sa New Year. Bisan pa man sa sinugdan sa among paglingkod diri, medyo na emotional mi kay among nabati nga makurom ba ug ma-approve ba kay nangala pa ta og simple majority since nakabase sa atong balaod nga kinahanglan maabot ang simple majority diin wala ninyo kami gipakyas ug karon nahimog malampuson among tinguha. Katulang og daghang salamat sa inyong suporta ang among ipaabot ang maayong Pasko ug malipayong bag-ong tuig kaniyong tanan. Daghang salamat.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Dan.
In
Mr.
behalf
Dan
of the
Erasmo.
in behalf of the Sangguniang Bayan of Ipil in session today, everything the president of the municipal employee had said are all well noted.
Mr. Chair, I just want to correct Mr. Dan Erasmo that approving an appropriation ordinance needs affirmative votes of all the Sangguniang Bayan members, whether present or not. It's not a simple majority. Thank you, AMI Association. At least, nakita namo nga functional ang atong association sa mga employees sa lungsod sa Ipil, sa munisipyo. So, we will proceed, Mr. Chair.
Continue, Honorable Floor.
Okay, Mr. Chair, we are now on the committee reports.
Just stay put first. Association of Employees, we are not on recess. Committee report?
Franco.
Mr. Chair, we are now on the committee report.
It's committee report.
I have one committee report, Mr. Chair, on the Committee on Rules, Ordinances, and Resolutions. The subject is the Memorandum of Agreement to be entered into by the Sibugay Technical Institute Incorporated with Local Government Unit of Ipil for the on-the-job training of BSBA students. The remarks and recommendations, the Committee on Rules, Ordinances, and Resolutions to which the above subject matter was referred for review. Upon review, the committee find it appropriate, consistent with law. Thus, the committee is recommending to allow the Memorandum of Agreement to be entered into by the Sibugay Technical Institute Incorporated, represented by Dr. Eufemio Vic Javier, and Local Government Unit of Ipil, represented by the Honorable Anamel C. Olegario, Municipal Mayor, for the OJT of BSBA students, provided that the student shall undergo drug testing to any accredited DOH drug testing center in the municipality of Ipil as provided in the Municipal Ordinance Number 10-675-2024 for proper evaluation and monitoring. The committee would like to remand back this request to SAI for proper guidance and recommending further to consider the recommendation set forth by the committee. I move, Mr. Chair, for the adoption of this committee report of the Committee on Rules, Ordinances, and Resolutions.
Any second? Committee report adopted.
That would be all, Mr. Chair, for the Committee on Rules. Thank you.
Continue, Honorable Floor Leader, for other committee report, for the other members.
Sasama na sila. Sa other matters,
Honorable Palalon, you are recognized for a committee report.
Good morning. Committee report number 502 on Committee on Appropriation. The subject is the annual budget for CY 2025 of Barangay Gituan amounting to 4,472,716 pesos. The remarks and recommendation of the Committee on Appropriation, to which was referred the annual budget for CY 2025 of Barangay Gituan of this municipality for review, evaluation, and approval. The said annual budget for CY 2025 has been referred to the Local Finance Committee through the Municipal Budget Officer for technical review and preliminary review. After review, it is hereby declared operative in its entirety, effective upon its approval, subject to the posting requirements under Section 59 of RA 7160 and further subject to the conditions cited in the Local Finance Committee review. In the implementation of its budget, the LGU must ascertain adherence to the fundamental principles enumerated in Section 305 of the Code. It is understood that the review action does not authorize any item of appropriation that is specifically prohibited by or inconsistent with the provisions of law. The committee hereby recommends for its approval, provided that compliance with the foregoing in the execution of the budget shall be the sole responsibility of the implementing barangay government using the standard guidelines or procedures in the budget execution phase prescribed under the Budget Civil Service Laws, Budgeting, Accounting, and Auditing Rules and Regulations. Mr. Chair, I move for the adoption of the committee report number 502 on Committee on Appropriation.
Any second?
I second.
Any objection? There being none, motion approved.
With that, Mr. Chair, I move to pass for a resolution declaring operative in its entirety of the annual budget for CY 2025 of Barangay Gituan amounting to 4,472,716 pesos. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Any second?
Second, Your Honor.
Discussion. Any discussion? Any amendments? Objection. There being none, the motion is approved.
Mr. Chair, privilege motion. May I move for a 2 minutes recess?
Motion granted.
Therefore, I could say that it makes our legislative work more easier and more accessible to the public.
The signing of the Executive Order Number 249 on July 26, 1949 by the late President, His Excellency Ipil Quirino, marked a very significant day for this municipality. Ipil, as the provincial capital of Zamboanga Sibugay, lies in the crossroad between Pagadian City, Zamboanga City, and Dipolog City, with 28 barangays and with a population of 64,139 based on the recent census, and with a land area of 36,690 hectares. Since 1949, the municipal government was situated at the Poblacion area. However, in 2022, the municipal government center was transferred here at Barangay Taway after the local officials and series of public hearings and consultations were conducted. The Honorable Mayor Animal C. Oligario holds office in this area. The Honorable Vice Mayor Ramses Roy D. Oligario and staff are situated adjacent to the office of the local chief executive. Likewise, the members of the local sanggunian holds office in their respective offices manned with at least 2 or 3 legislative staff. The secretary to the sanggunian and staff hold office adjacent to the session hall. The session is on live stream every Wednesday at 10 o'clock in the morning. The local sanggunian are strictly observing their parliamentary procedures, the significance of the maze, and the paperless system.
As head of the legislative body of this municipality, I always adhere to the national mandate. Our actions are anchored on our legislative agenda, which form part of the major thrust, programs, and activities of this administration incorporated in our executive legislative priorities. One major breakthrough we made in relation to effective legislation was to go on technological advancement. In 2019, we started the offline data banking and legislative tracking. However, after the pandemic, we realized we need to go on extra miles, and with the support of the local chief executive, we were able to go on paperless session as an amount of 2.2 million was allocated for the purpose. We consider it more advantageous on our part since we save paperwork, its accessibility through online, it is user-friendly. We maintain domain hosting and pay annually to sustain the program. Our live sessions can be accessed in the social media platform and Facebook. We have a website, www.sbepil.net, which can be accessible through our cell phones. Indeed, it is very advantageous considering we are already guided ahead our scheduled session. By going through the calendar business, that is why we will again move towards modernization of the recording system, archiving of all data using the advanced IT equipments. Therefore, I could say that it makes our legislative work more easier and more accessible to the public.
The record of the proceedings, minutes, ordinances, resolutions, journals, records of proceedings are properly stored. The local sanggunian is guided with the Internal Rules of Procedures or IRP, Legislative Agenda, in harmony with the Executive Legislative Agenda or ELA. We have Books 1, 2, and 3 of the Code of General Ordinances. We have Children's Welfare Code. And we have Sanitation Code.
As keeper of the legislative documents and consider the support services of the local sanggunian of this municipality, we keep all the records safely and properly. As the secretary to the sanggunian since 1993, I am grateful for the support and of our Municipal Mayor, the Honorable MDC Oligario, and the local Sanggunian headed by Vice Mayor Ramses Troy Oligario, since they allocated sufficient funds to cover the cost of this Volume 3, the Codified Ordinance, which covers 2010 to 2021 with around 275 approved ordinances, and we have 1,675 resolutions. These are distributed to the barangays, the 28 barangays, for free, also to the different departments and agencies.
Being the local chief executive of this municipality and the First Lady Mayor, and I took my oath of office to serve my constituents by heart. But you know, to be frank about it, the task is not that easy. It's not a joke to be the head of the first-class municipality, and there are so many challenges that need to be conquered, but with the constant executive legislative conferences with the local Sanggunian and in adapting participatory and consultative process involving the different sectors and stakeholders, the priorities of this administration came to realize, being anchored on the LGU's vision. One legacy we made that surpassed our expectations was a transfer of the government center from the old municipal hall to the new municipal hall located at Barangay Taway, Ipil, Zamboanga, Sibugay.
We conducted barangay mobile sessions. The Capability Building conducted last May 2022 at Cagayan de Oro City, and year-end Capability Building last December 2022. The local legislative body was adjudged as the most outstanding Sanggunian in the year 2016 in the provincial and regional level, and national finalist representing Region 9 for the first-class municipality.
With our shared vision as embodied in our ELA, firm focus, political will, and commitment to continue doing good things, and I believe we can move forward to sustain a safer and stronger Ipil. Daghang salamat!
Therefore, I could say that it makes our legislative work more easier and more accessible to the public.
The signing of the Executive Order No. 249 on July 26, 1949 by the late President, His Excellency Ipil Quirino, marked a very significant day for this municipality. Ipil, as the provincial capital of Zamboanga Sibugay, lies in the crossroad between Pagadian City, Zamboanga City, and Dipolog City, with 28 barangays and with a population of 64,139 based on the recent census, and with a land area of 36,690 hectares. Since 1949, the municipal government was situated at the Poblacion area. However, in 2022, the municipal government center was transferred here at Barangay Taway after the local officials and series of public hearings and consultations were conducted. Likewise, the members of the local sanggunian holds office in their respective offices manned with at least 2 or 3 legislative staff. The secretary to the sanggunian and staff hold office adjacent to the session hall. The session is on live stream every Wednesday at 10 o'clock in the morning. The local sanggunian are strictly observing their parliamentary procedures, the significance of the maze, and the paperless system.
As head of the legislative body of this municipality, I always adhere to the national mandate. Our actions are anchored on our legislative agenda, which form part of the major thrust, programs, and activities of this administration incorporated in our executive legislative priorities. One major breakthrough we made in relation to effective legislation was to go on technological advancement. In 2019, we started the offline data banking and legislative tracking. However, after the pandemic, we realized we need to go on extra miles, and with the support of the local chief executive, we were able to go on paperless session as an amount of 2.2 million was allocated for the purpose. We consider it more advantageous on our part since we saved paperwork, its accessibility through online, it is user-friendly. We maintain domain hosting and pay annually to sustain our program. Our live sessions can be accessed in the social media platform and Facebook. We have a website www.sbepil.net, which can be accessible through our cell phones. Indeed, it is very advantageous considering we are already guided ahead our scheduled session by going through the calendar business. That is why we will again move towards modernization of the recording system, archiving of all data using the advanced IT equipments. Therefore, I could say that it makes our legislative work more easier and more accessible to the public.
The record of the proceedings, minutes, ordinances, resolutions, journals, records of proceedings are properly stored. The local Sanggunian is guided with the Internal Rules of Procedures or IRP, Legislative Agenda in harmony with the Executive Legislative Agenda or ELA. We have Books 1, 2, and 3 of the Code of General Ordinances. We have Children's Welfare Code. And we have Sanitation Code.
As keeper of the legislative documents and consider the support services of the local Sanggunian of this municipality, we keep all the records safely and properly. As the Secretary to the Sanggunian since 1993, I am grateful for the support and of our Municipal Mayor, the Honorable MDC Oligario, and the local Sanggunian headed by Vice Mayor Ramses Troy Oligario, since they allocated sufficient funds to cover the cost of this Volume 3, the Codified Ordinance, which covers 2010 to 2021, with around distributed to the barangays, 28 barangays, for free, also to the different departments and agencies.
Being the local chief executive of this municipality and the First Lady Mayor, and I took my oath of office to serve my constituents by heart. But you know, to be frank about it, the task is not that easy. It's not a joke to be the head of the first-class municipality, and there are so many challenges that need to be conquered, but with the constant executive legislative conferences with the local Sanggunian and in adapting participatory and consultative process involving the different sectors and stakeholders, the priorities of this administration came to realize, being anchored on the LGU's vision. One legacy we made that surpassed our expectations was a transfer of the government center from the old municipal hall to the new municipal hall located at Barangay Taway, Ipil, Zamboanga, Sibugay.
We conducted barangay mobile sessions. The capability building conducted last May 2022 at Cagayan de Oro City and year-end capability building last December 2022. The local legislative body was adjudged as the most outstanding Sanggunian in the year 2016 in the provincial and regional level and national finalist representing Region 9 for the first-class municipality.
With our shared vision as embodied in our ELA, firm focus, political will, and commitment to continue doing good things, and I believe we can move forward to sustain a safer and stronger Ipil.
Floor leader.
Check. Mr. Chair, may I move for the suspension of the rules to accommodate our municipal budget officer
Rules
in
suspended.
relation with the inquiry of the annual budget 2025.
Mr. Chair, requesting, privilege motion, Mr. Chair, since Honorable Roy is present. May I be excused? I'm not feeling well.
Mr. Chair, the purpose of the suspension of the rules, Mr. Chair, to accommodate our municipal budget officer because all the inquiries relative to the executive budget 2025 is coming from the Honorable Catalunya. For now, he leaves this session for the reason that she is not feeling well. Still, Mr. Chair, that annual budget cannot be passed through this Sangguniang Bayan because it needs affirmative votes, Mr. Chair.
What's the pleasure of the body? What's the pleasure of the body?
We will discuss this, Mr. Chair, on the next regular session. Discuss nato rin sa next regular session. But it needs affirmative votes in approving the annual budget.
Mr. Chair, break.
Yes,
Yes, continue.
igura mag-suspend pa ang rules unta i-accommodate ato ang ato ang budget officer.
Recess for 2 minutes.
I object with the recess, Mr. Chair. Ato sang tiwason unsa to ang kuan ni Sir Ramos unsa to, sir?
Okay, session back to order.
Naay kuan? Naa kay inquiry, sir?
There are still matters to be taken up aside from the annual budget.
Yes. So we will dispense
Discussing
we will dispense the discussion of the annual budget.
yeah,
Okay.
we'll dispense
Ah.
discussion on annual budget.
Back to order, Mr. Chair. The rules is suspended, man. Suspended man to. Back to order kita, suspended the rules.
Okay, session back to order.
Mr. Chair, we will dispense the discussion on the 2025 annual budget. Let the Honorable Ramos, because he has some other matters to discuss with.
Honorable Ramos, you have the floor.
I think we have already finished the committee report, so we'll proceed to the business for the day sa second reading. There is still matters to be discussed bayan sa second reading. In fact, I have here kaning bayan sa Bapco Ordinance. I will report this time for second reading. I want to be to discuss this on the second reading, this Bapco Ordinance.
Madam Secretary.
So not second reading, sir?
Order of business.
Okay, so for business on second reading, we have 5. The first one is still laid on the table, which is the ordinance declaring Bayan Kong Pinagmulan as official hymn. So let's go to item B2, adoption of the QR code program to be implemented in this municipality. This is sponsored by Honorable Catherine Turalba.
Honorable Turalba.
Let's proceed to B-3, sir. An ordinance setting guidelines on retirement of barangay agri-fishery program coordinators, BAPCO, and providing funds thereof.
So thank you.
Honorable Ramos.
So before I proceed with the discussions of the text of the ordinance number 145. May I allow me to deliver my sponsorship speech. For your approval is an ordinance entitled an ordinance setting the guidelines on the retirement of barangay agri-fisheries program coordinators of BAPCO and providing fund thereof. This ordinance will institutionalize a reward system for barangay agri-fisheries coordinators who will have rendered at least 15 years of faithful and dedicated service to their respective barangays. This measure does not only aim to give just cash benefits to qualified BAPCO coordinators in recognition of their invaluable contributions in the attainment of barangay agri-fisheries program, but will likewise provide motivation to entice barangay folks to offer their services as BAPCO coordinators. The more barangay residents get interested in the job, the higher the opportunity for the LGU to select the best from among themselves. I respectfully submit, Mr. Chair. So with that statement, Mr. Chair, I therefore move for the approval of ordinance number 145, entitled an ordinance setting the guidelines on the retirement of barangay agri-fisheries program coordinators and providing fund thereof. May I continue?
There is a motion for approval. Any second?
Second.
Discussion.
May I continue the reading of the whereas if the chair allows me to read? Whereas the appointment or designations of barangay agri-fisheries program coordinators has been institutionalized through ordinance number 12-345-2014. Whereas the LGU recognized the BAPCO coordinators as an integral part in pursuing the agri-fisheries program of the barangays. Whereas as a gesture of appreciation for the faithful and loyal services rendered by qualified BAPCO coordinators and in recognition of their invaluable contributions to the attainment of the objectives of the barangays agri-fisheries program, the LGU strongly believes that a cash benefit is fitting reward for them upon their retirement. Whereas the intended recipients deserve the reward of cash incentives after retirement due to their length of faithful dedicated service despite the meager allowances they receive. So those are the justification. And Section 1, Ordinance setting the guidelines of the retirement of the barangay agri-fisheries program coordinators and providing funds thereof. Section 2, scope, these guidelines shall cover the welfare of the BAPCO of Ipil, Zamboanga, Sibugay, who reaches retirement age and who wants to avail retirement.
Honorable Ramos. Honorable Ramos, point of order.
Yes.
Since everyone has the copy, no, of the said ordinance, let's go directly to discussion for any comments on the ordinance and any questions on the ordinance. So, Honorable Chamber, any discussion regarding the ordinance? Any discussion? Any questions? Any minds for amendment? Any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I move for the to be calendar this approved municipal reading ordinance in the next regular third reading in the next regular session.
Okay. Motion approved. Any objection? Motion is approved.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, for the next.
Balik na si mga
Hmm?
Balik si mga.
Ah.
QR code? QR code?
QR code.
Delete to. Let's go back to item B, that's one, considering that Honorable Catherine Turalba is now around. We have the ordinance for the adoption of Palinki QR code program to be implemented in this municipality. This is sponsored by Honorable Catherine Turalba.
Mr. Chair, I move to defer this particular ordinance and set again for second reading on the next regular session, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Item B is deferred for the calendar next session.
Item B-4, we have here the ordinance revising the market code of the municipality of Ipil under the management and supervision of the Municipal Economic Enterprise Office, or MIDO. This is sponsored by Honorable Serafina Ramos.
Mr. Chair, I also move for to reschedule that said ordinance the next regular session.
Okay. Motion granted.
Item B-5, we have the ordinance revising the slaughterhouse code and by transferring its supervision from the Municipal Economic Enterprise Office, or MIDO, to the Municipal Agriculture Office, or MAO, and institutionalizing additional provisions thereof. Again, this is sponsored by Honorable Serafina Ramos.
Same thing, I so move to reschedule this the next regular session.
Motion granted.
Item B-6, we have the ordinance establishing an integrated system to prevent mendicancy in the municipality of Ipil and creating the Anti-Mendicancy Board and providing penalties thereof. This is sponsored by Honorable Catherine Turalba.
Mr. Chair, still, I move that this matter be set for second reading still on the next regular session, pending public hearing on this particular ordinance, Mr. Chair.
Motion granted.
We are now on the other matters, sir.
Mr. Chair, I move for the suspension of the rules, Mr. Chair. We will let our municipal budget officer to speak, Mr. Chair.
Rules suspended. And the honorable budget.
Particularly on the discussion of this
And the
annual budget.
Budget officer recognized. Please take the rostrum.
Explain.
To our presiding officer, members of the Sangguniang Bayan members, visitors, friends, my colleague in the government service, good morning. Mr. Chair, allow me to speak for the annual budget for 2025 and my idea on the preparation and going to budget authorization, Mr. Chair. Would you allow me?
Proceed.
Our annual budget for 2025 was submitted last October 16. This Sangguniang Bayan has given an ample time to review and evaluate our proposed annual budget for 2025. It is with dismay a while ago that when I was recognized to speak, one of the Sangguniang Bayan members walked away, where in fact, she is the one who has concern regarding the plans. I have with me all the individual plans that she is looking for. And based on the local budget memorandum circular issued to us for the preparation of the annual budget, let me state, together with the local expenditure program, which is the LEPT, the following documents shall be prepared and submitted by the local chief executive of provinces, cities, and municipalities, in our case, municipality, to the local Sanggunian concerned for budget authorization purposes, and that is your role, on the authorization of our annual budget for 2025. In the submission of the LEP, together with the LEP, we submitted the plantilla of LGU personnel local budget preparation form number 3, together with the LEP, statement of indebtedness form number 5, annual operating budget for local economic enterprise, if any, and of course LGU Ipil has, AIP, Annual Investment Program, approved by the Sanggunian through a resolution. And we submitted the LEP together all of these documents, which one of the Sangguniang Bayan, in the person of Konsehal Catalunya, is looking for, is already incorporated in the annual investment program, which you already approved with the resolution. If you remember last session that we have, I presented the resolution number approving the annual investment program for 2025. And as a general rule, whatever is in the annual investment program should only be appropriated in the annual budget for 2025. That's why you are given the ample time to review. You refer this matter to the Committee and Appropriation, right? And per local budget operation manual, the Committee on Appropriation may or may not, in the person of Konsehal Toralba, call for a budget hearing during the deliberation of the annual budget for 2025. Up to this day, we are just waiting that our presence, the local finance committee, will be called for the deliberation. If you have any question regarding the annual budget proposed for 2025. But as of this moment, December, 19? 18. We haven't received any call from the Sangguniang Bayan member that you invited us for a deliberation, a budget hearing, or any concern that you want to know regarding our annual budget for 2025. In as far as the local chief executive is concerned, represented by me, the municipal budget officer, we comply with all the documents needed in the submission. Just want to remind this august body that it is mandated under the local government code that Sangguniang Bayan should enact the annual budget for the next year during the current year on or before December 31, 2024. So this time, you may ask me if you have any concern regarding the annual budget. So if there being none, there's no reason to delay the approval of the annual budget. Mr. Presiding Officer.
Mr. Chair, we have heard our municipal budget officer presenting and discussing to us relative to the annual budget, executive budget 2025. But to our dismay, our two colleagues made their privileged motion to be out in this session. Sila man unta ang naay pangutana kabahin sa annual budget is a big insult to the Sangguniang Bayan when this temporary floor leader called for the suspension of the rules to accommodate our municipal budget officer to shed light on the matter to be inquired by the Honorable Dayan Catalunya. Siya manggod ang naadyoy pangutana unta she stays so long in this session where in fact they were on leave, they were present just to approve the supplemental. Tapos karon na ay tay inquire na siya inquire kabahin sa annual budget. Why did she leave? Mao nay ato ang atong pangutana. And of course, we know for a fact kabalo sila sa ilang ginahimo. Inaani lang unta, Mr. Chair, no? This is the annual budget for 2025. That annual budget was submitted before the Sangguniang Bayan last October 16 of this year. And it's now December 18. Past 2 months, Mr. Chair, but still we did not approve the annual budget of 2025, executive budget 2025 of this municipality. Why? Because every time we had our regular sessions, the other members of the Sangguniang are on leave. We cannot discuss that. Now they are present, they leave immediately. We know that that is their privilege. Matingala ta usahay nga on leave mo present sa session, happy ta ana kay because we are members of the Sangguniang Bayan. The first basic duty gud sa Sangguniang Bayan unta is to attend the session, regular session, para everything nga mo transpire unsa ba gusto i-discuss na sa regular session. This annual budget, Mr. Chair, for 2025 is a very important in this municipality. We raise our hand every first Wednesday of the month, reciting our creed. We are mandated by law to enact measures and ordinances, Mr. Chair, for the general welfare of our constituents, for the general welfare of our individual in this municipality. Divided na ba ang Sangguniang Bayan sa Ipil? Because of some political interest? I pose that question to other members of this honorable chamber who keep on having their leave of absence even though it's a regular session, but they can attend to some forum outside, Mr. Chair. This is a very important, the annual budget 2025. we were so happy having the two colleagues here who were present during this session, Mr. Chair, knowing that they were on leave. Pasalamat na kaya at least natubag ang clamor sa itong mga empleyado. But for now, that's a big insult to the Sangguniang Bayan, recognizing a municipal budget officer, Mr. Chair, to shed light on the matter to be inquired by one of our colleagues here. Then, she suddenly asked the privileged motion to leave because she's not feeling well. Nindot ba unta ka ito na ara sa unta para mahuman na nato ni? Because after this December 18, we have still one na lang ka-regular session that will be on December 26, a day after the holiday of December 25th. But anyway, Mr. Chair, nagpagawas lang ko sa kuang gibati. Regular session. Mawita to nangutana ko ganiha kay Ma'am Zenny kung gi-retrieve ba nila ang ilang leave. Kay matod pa sa atong secretary mo apas, but I was in doubt kay leave man. So pasalamat ta kay ni appear for the approval of the supplemental budget for the benefits of our local employees. But pertaining to the discussion on the annual budget, Mr. Chair, nikalit lang mag-disappear. So, dili matubag, unsay gusto inquire, gusto mahibawaan. I was so desperate, Mr. Chair, being one of the member of this honorable body. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, inquiry lang ako. Kanang si Honorable Dayan.
The Honorable Toralbat, please take over. Dali lang kayo.
Yan, isa may mag-floor. Isa mag-floor. Kasi mag-floor?
Ipapay, paliguran lang sa konsel.
Lain na mag-floor.
Kailan na, kuya? Kailan na?
Exchange po naman mo. Eh, lisod kayo sa recording. Ito lang, pasensya. Para dili na maglisod ang recording.
Kasi maglisod, te? Kasi di maglisod, ha?
Recording, huwag change
Normal man na usahay, te. Kanang
Continue.
magkuhan, lingkod.
Honorable Ramos.
This is only my inquiry ba because beforehand ako nahibawan nga si Honorable Dayan and Honorable Sabion nag-leave. Pero hintungha sila karon. So about pasabot, are they retrieving their leave? They cannot participate in the discussion when they are on leave.
I-retrieve nila, sir.
I-retrieve nila. Kunya, kapag mo man sesyon, yung leave na po. Is that normal? So back to the kaning annual budget to.
Yes, sir.
In my observation, annual budget, bisan pa sa Congress o sa Senate, once the budget forwarded to sa Senate o sa Congress na automatic na sila mag-hearing, congressional hearing. So, mauna siguro itong ibuot pasabot nimo nga the budget or annual budget was submitted to the Sangguniang Bayan last October 16. So ingon nimo ganiya, you waited for pila ka number of days kung magpatawag ang atong Siemens Committee on Apro. So man na mahimo niya. Wa sa kapatawag meeting. So do you mean to say nga even without any hearing there is sa SB, okay ra ba na nga atong aprubahan ang budget to without any go the process in public hearing. Kay
Mr. Chair.
in the previous years, when I was yet first term, no, sa first term nako, doon na gito gihit na himo. Nga murag budget hearing sa ISBE.
Mr. Chair.
Ang tanan mga department heads gipatawag.
Mr. Chair.
So previous years, na yung mga aging mga tuig, wa na ko kakuan. Murag automatic nang ina nga atong gi-approvean without any public hearing. So muna na akong kuan karon, kung okay ra ba, nga wala na tayo public hearing, will automatically approve the budget.
Mr. Chair?
Yes. Yes.
May I
Can
speak?
Wait. Honorable Trixie Blala. Are you finished, Honorable Ramos?
Yeah.
Okay. Madam.
May I speak, Mr. Chair?
Sige.
Okay. To answer that question of Honorable Ramos, it is stated in the Budget Operations Manual that the Committee on Appropriations may call a budget hearing. But the executive budget hearing was conducted. So, as a member of Committee on Appropriation, kung wala na tayo kakulian nga nalantaw di sa tuang annual budget, we may not call a budget hearing. All plans were submitted to the Sangguniang Bayan and approved by resolutions. So the Sangguniang Bayan, the Committee on Appropriation, with the chairman, Honorable Toralba, didn't call upon a budget hearing. It's because nag-executive budget hearing na ta and wala na complications nakita sa tong annual. And yes, we're authorized to authorize the annual budget without budget hearing with the Committee on Appropriation because we have the Budget Operations Manual. It is there with Ma'am Laurelyn Galyemet.
Your question has been answered by Cons Palalon, Cons Ramos.
So meaning, even without any budget hearing dito sa Sangguniang Bayan, okay ra gyapon. Parang matawag na to optional.
Yes, because it is stated that may call, may not call. So, since we didn't see any complications with the annual, all plans were submitted, no wala na kulang. So we reported that it is recommended to authorize the annual budget. So I am also dismayed with Honorable Catalunya since she has so many questions and all plans. Regarding her questions na kung naa na ba tanan plans individually, yes. To answer that question, yes. Our budget officer, he is present here, yet she leave the session hall. So, may I ask for my other colleagues, present or absent, that next regular session, we will approve the annual budget because if we cause any delays, this will affect the whole municipality of Ipil.
May I gusto lang kami balo ba
Yes, sir.
of what Honorable Catalunya are asking. Kung sa man tong iyon niya kulang ng mga dokumento para ma-approve na tong annual.
She is asking for an individual plans which is already incorporated in the annual investment program. But even then, I brought with me all the individual plans she is looking for to answer her query. But yeah, unfortunately, she left. So how can I answer her query?
What are the other observations of Honorable Catalunya aside from that? Morato siya.
Yes, sir. Maura to iyahang manifestation.
May I request our budget officer to make it formal. Later, musuat siguro kaniya, parisan mo kopya itong kuhan, dahil pa-receive siya ang staff para din na siya makiingon nga napay kulang.
She has to send me first a request before I will respond. If it's black and white, I would be willing to answer any questions. regarding the annual budget for 2025. But in as much as the local budget memorandum guidelines in the submission of the local expenditure program, it was stated there, the attached document, the needed document in the submission together with the LEPT. And we complied all of that. Regarding budget hearing, we complied in the executive department, and we even invited the legislative department. And Consejal Catalunya was there. I have a proof in the attendance sheet that she was there. Consejal Sabihon was also there. You were there. Our chairman on appropriation were there during the budget hearing, but we did not receive any questions regarding the subject matter during the budget hearing. Now that the local expenditure program is already in the hands of the Sangguniang Bayan for budget authorization phase, since October 16 up to present, we waited for any invitation to discuss annual budget 2025. If you have any concerns that you need clarification, but we did not receive up to this moment. At the time I was recognized to explain, and I even brought all the plans with me to present to you, and she left. I will not question her wisdom. I will not question her reasons. But it is inconsistent with her manifestation that she wanted those plans, yet she left when I presented. So if there are any questions regarding annual budget, since you are in majority, you can ask right now. If there being none, Mr. Chair? Am I done?
So, ako, Chapter, nagpasalamat ko kayo sa itong budget officer.
Thank you, sir.
Sa iyang pagtambong dire, bisag katong nangayo sa dokumento. Wa ano dire. Importante yung tatog niya pa sa dire para clarified siya. Okay, wala man siya dire. I suggest to the budget officer na to. Palihog lang ibutang niya sa antibol. Kanang katong pangayon niyang requirements. Kaya in case nga makaari siya dire, o di ang iyang staff, makalanto dia mapadala dito siya haron siya makabasa nga nana dia tanan mga girikwa sa gipangayon niya. Wala na, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, our Municipal Budget Officer.
Okay na. Thank you so much.
Daghang kay salamat for the enlightenment.
Mr. Chair, as much as we want to approve urgently the annual budget 2025, we cannot because it needs affirmative vote of the Sangguniang Bayan members, whether present or not. So we cannot approve today. And I hope that if Honorable Catalunya can watch us live, she can review our live, all her questions are answered. That would be all. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any more matters, subject matters, other matters?
Honorable Chair.
Honorable Chair, I have with me the letter of Mr. Edgar Apaw, our municipal agriculturist, addressed to our Vice Mayor, no? attached surveyed as the draft of Ipil Agriculture and Fisheries Development Plan for the years 2025 to 2029 for your adoption through a resolution. So I would like to request this honorable, the honorable chairman, ikuha na eh. So may I request the presiding officer to repair this plan to the Committee on Agriculture, so that we can act on this on the next regular session.
So that item will be referred to Committee on Agriculture.
Thank you.
Any more?
Board Chair, if there's no other matter, so I move to adjourn.
Second? Any second?
I second, Mr. Chair.
The 126th session of the Sangguniang Bayan of Ipil is hereby adjourned.
Sir, pwede ko manghangyo ninyo kay wala tay Christmas party para naalang tay accomplishment report for this year.